What is up, guys? We are back with another solo leveling recap. This time it is the second to last episode of the season. I know there was rumors about maybe this one was going to be a hour long special, but that doesn't seem to be the case. Um, so it's just a normal length episode, and then the next week's episode will be the last one. But this one is probably the most hype. So we're just gonna go over some scenes, do a quick recap, and see where we go from there, right? So the scene that you see here, this is what happens when the boys pull up. Okay. This is what happens when you get the boys, when you get the crew, when you get the homies, okay, and they pull up. Now, the Korean rank hunters, Jinwoo healed them. The Japanese hunters, we know Goto's dead. It is what it is. He's dead. They lost seven hunters, seven S rank hunters. The Japanese lost seven S rank hunters, if I'm not mistaken. Seven. Okay. We know that they've been plotting to make Korea weak in terms of their military force, in terms of their S rank hunters, but the opposite ended up happening. So this is when the boys pull up, right? The boys pull up here. Jinwoo and his crew doing their thing, putting in work, right? So we're gonna go to the next scene, which is he wasn't able to heal Chahe, right? Now we've seen this before where his healing potions don't work because their health is too low. So it can't do anything, right? So as you'll see in the scenes coming after this, he's really trying, is really anxious about finishing things up so he can save her. Okay, so we've seen this before, to where the potions don't work if your health is too low, right? And that was the case with Chahe. Only Chahe. The other ones weren't as bad, so the potions worked. But for Chahe, her health was too low, right? So again, you'll see, the fight that we're about to showcase, which is badass. It is very badass. But you can see the anxiety and the frustration with Jinwoo because he's trying to speed things along, right? He's trying to get it going. So let's go to another scene here. You can't tell me this is not a cool looking scene here. You cannot tell me this is not badass. Almost, if not one for the manhwa, right? If not one for the manhwa. This scene right here is leading into something, leading into like a heated battle, like an epic battle. When you see this, right? This is sick. This scene was sick. Just this thing here, this is fucking sick. This was so good. But again, moving on. Got a few more things to cover here. Right? And then you get this. Another sick shot. Now, Jinwoo and the Ant King, or what's his name? Beru, they were just exchanging blows, right? A test of strength, a test of speed. They were just exchanging blows here, right? Where Beru, he's was born to be the strongest, and he's getting frustrated that Jinwoo is keeping up with him. It's the same strength, same speed, even faster, and he just can't wrap his head around it, right? He can't wrap his head around it. This is another badass looking scene here, right? Of Jinwoo, right? I think this looks good. This similar to the glow up in season 1 when we first see Jinwoo start glowing up when he's fighting the snake for the first time, right? And you see the glow up. That's what this scene reminds me of. But moving on. Let's see, 1536 here. And we get the final form of Beru. The final form. Everyone has a final form, right? Everyone has one, right? Like Frieza, all have final form. This is his final form here, right? Jinwoo has pushed him to this point, right? His final form, right? It looks cool, looks okay, but this is his final form. So let's move along to this fight scene here, and I'm just gonna let this play for a bit, right? I'm just gonna let this play for a bit because they start, you know, they really started going ham here, right? Look at this confusion on this man's face because he can't keep up. They're just going all out. They're just going all out here. It's just insane. They're just going all out. Now, what I will say, I'm gonna pause right there. What I will say is that part of it, where you see like the lions going around red and blue, and they're just going, it's really reminiscent of the manhwa. But what I will say about this fight is that it seemed like there were some points when Jinwoo was struggling, and in the manhwa, if I recall correctly, he didn't really struggle. Um, so they did change some things up here, but overall, I think people were looking forward to this fight, and I think it delivered. I ultimately think it delivered. In that regard, it is probably the best fight we've seen thus far. Animated. It is probably the best fight we've seen thus far, and it's one of the ones to end the season. And I think it does it justice. If I'm being now, they did change some things from the manhwa. It's not one for one, but I think for the folks that were looking forward to this, I think they'll be happy with it. One more scene here. Um, and this is when Jinwoo tried to use the elixir of life, the same elixir that he used to cure his mom. He tried to use it on Chahe, and the same message notification. It doesn't work, right? So he wasted one, right? Because I believe he only has four. Use one on his mom and use one here, so he has two left. And as we can see, it didn't work. So the goal is to the goal was to finish up this fight and save her. So now it ends with Jinwoo turning around. For those in the who's read the manhwa, we know what he's about to do, right? Um, but overall, I think this episode, I have to give this episode a 9. I give it a 9. It was that good. The fight scenes specifically and how they showcased um Jinwoo and Beru fighting. The thing is, it's not one for one with the source material because if I remember correctly, Jinwoo didn't have that level of pushback or frustration with some of Baru's attacks. Um, but it's not that big of a deal for me. I would still give it a 9, simply because I think they popped off here. Right, the best fight to end the series. But I digress. Let me know what you all think in the comments. If you like it, if you don't like it, I did hear that it surpassed One Piece in terms of most liked anime. So I don't know. We're not gonna speak on that, but I did hear that it surpassed One Piece in terms of the most liked. So we'll see. But I think this episode is probably one of the best episodes of the series. But let me know what you guys think below. That's all I have for this one. Keep on keeping on.